Are you having a problem with lice or mites on your quail and you're wondering how you treat them? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back to another slightly rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris, and if you're new to this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. We have a question today brought to us by a viewer named Jacob Cole. He's asking me to do a video on how to treat lice in quail. And I'm going to expand that a little bit and talk about mites as well, because it's really kind of the same thing. He went on to say if I gave him a shout out in the video, it would mean the world to him. So Jacob, here is your shout out. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Let's get right to it. All right, so there's a couple of different ways you can treat lice. I keep wanting to say mice. It's not mice, it's lice or mites. They really are the same kind of issue in your quail if you have them. It's a very common issue that you're going to run into. Luckily, I've not had to deal with that. It's much more common in chickens and birds that are kept on the ground than it is birds that are kept up in pens like this. So again, I don't have to deal with that myself. I'm not going to be able to demonstrate how, but I'm going to be able to talk about how to treat that. First things first, let me say that what I'm going to talk about is how to treat an infestation of lice or mites, not preventative measures. Do not use any kind of chemicals or any kind of treatment as a preventative measure. Only use it to treat an infestation that has already occurred. That's my personal belief. If you want to believe differently than that and you want to do it, go ahead. But I'm telling you, it's not a good idea to do these things preventatively. It's only used to treat when you do have a problem. So how are you going to know if you have lice or you have mites on your quail? You're going to see them. You're going to notice things with your birds like very dirty around, especially the vent area. You might notice that they've lost some feathers, and you might see some small bugs or some small nits that are going to look like little brown specks around the bald areas where they've lost the feathers. You can kind of pull the feathers back a little bit and you should be able to see the bugs inside. It's just like lice in human hair. If you've ever had a lice infestation, you're going to know. And just about everybody's dealt with lice at one point in their life. So you're going to have a pretty good idea that you've got lice or you've got a mite problem. Look for scaly skin, dry, again, feathers they've lost feathers, and most importantly, look for the nits, which are the eggs, the small bugs, and look for the bugs themselves kind of crawling on your birds. And once you notice those things, you know you've got a problem and you need to fix it. And there's a couple of different ways that I'm going to recommend to fix it. You may have heard me talk about diatomaceous earth before and how I disagree with using it. This is one of those times where it's okay to use. And the way I would use diatomaceous earth, make sure it's a food grade diatomaceous earth, is mix it in with their dust bath and allow the birds to get in there and dust themselves with that. That's going to treat the birds themselves, and that's going to get rid of your lice infestation. Now, I would say once it's gone, once it's taken care of, give it a week or two, because you don't want to just kill the bugs that are on them and then let the eggs hatch and have another problem. Give it a week or two and then get all that out of there, because diatomaceous earth is known to cause some respiratory illnesses. You really don't want to stir up a bunch of dust when you're using it. And you want to be careful not to inhale a bunch of dust when you are applying diatomaceous earth. Avoid applying it directly to the birds though. Again, put it in a dust bath, mix it in with some wood ash, something like that, and allow the birds to dust themselves with that, and that can take care of the problem for you. My preferred way to treat lice or mites would be with a permethrin spray. Now you can buy permethrin, it's an insecticide, but it has a very low toxicity to birds. Now I will say, it's very highly toxic to bees and some of those kinds of things, so you don't want to just go spraying it all over the place. You want to confine it to the birds themselves and to their coop itself to treat the problems inside the coop. But you can buy that as a pre-made spray specifically to treat lice and mites. It's actually the main ingredient that's in most lice shampoos and things that we use on ourselves. So it's pretty safe to use around ourselves. It is still an insecticide, so again, don't go crazy with it. But there is no known withdrawal period for this, so you don't have to worry about spraying it on your birds and then waiting months and months and months before you eat their eggs or any of those kinds of things. I would still give it, a couple of weeks before I would eat their eggs or eat the meat, anything like that. But back to what I was talking about. You can buy it as a pre-made spray or you can buy it as a concentrate and mix it yourself. If you're going to mix it yourself, I can't remember the exact mixture, but you're going to want to mix it pretty weak. It's something like an ounce of it to like 5 gallons of water, something like that. But look it up. Any farm supply store should be able to direct you on how to mix it specifically for treating mice. And I would spray their entire hutch, in the corners, all around, because they're going to live not just on the birds, but they're also going to live in the corners of the hutches and those kinds of things. Clean out your hutch really, really well. Get rid of the sand that's in there. If you have a sandbox, put in fresh sand. You're going to probably have to remove it again after a week and put in fresh sand again. You don't want to leave spaces for those bugs to live and to survive, but you want to clean it out very, very well. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to remove your birds completely from their hutch and use a pressure washer to spray it down really, really good and clean out those areas. But again, my preferred way would be permethrin. It works incredibly well. It's a very fast, quick thing that's it doesn't have nearly the, even though it is a chemical, even though it is a pesticide, it doesn't have the risk factors that more natural things like diatomaceous earth do. Because again, those can have respiratory problems. They've been known to cause respiratory problems in birds and different animals. So I'll leave a link down below to a product that is pre-made for treating lice and mites in poultry, and it will work just fine for the quail. It is a permethrin-based spray. You don't have to mix it, but you can just go to any kind of local farm supply store and you can pick it up. Again, either as a concentrate or as a pre-made spray for your birds. So those are my preferred methods to do that. Cleanliness is the key though. Clean everything very, very well. You're gonna have to do it a couple of different times just to make sure you got it all taken care of, but you spray them down with that stuff once. Spray their hutches down a little bit, clean everything out, and you're probably going to have that problem nicked. Now you want to get on top of this pretty quick because a lice infestation in your birds or even a mite infestation in your birds can really cause some problems. If you start noticing birds being real lethargic, getting anemic, those kinds of things, it's very hard to bring them back from that. So you want to get on top of this pretty quick if you have it. But again, do not use this to prevent an infestation. Wait until you have one to treat them. That's how I would deal with it anyway if it were me. I don't like to do anything preventatively that involves any kind of chemical or diatomaceous earth or any of that stuff. Only use it to treat problems that you already have. It's not that hard to take care of as long as you're observant of your birds and you notice it when you first have the problem. Treat it quickly. It's pretty easy to take care of. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Thank you again, Jacob, for the question, and we will see you guys again on the next video. As always, God bless.